All right, welcome back. There was plenty of hockey today, a lot of action, including another overtime, a double overtime game. Boston beat Columbus, but last night was a 5-overtime game. Chris, I want to get your thoughts on that because a lot of people have said it's too long, especially in this situation. Would you be in favor after one overtime period or two of going to 4-on-4 instead of 5-on-5, trying to shorten the game, especially in this situation where you got all these bubbles going on? And I find it interesting. I thought the game was fascinating, but some people want change. Do you?
I mean, I only turned on that Columbus-Tampa game in the fifth overtime because I was busy doing other stuff. I might have been flipping through some NBA games. Sorry. Woo.
Devin Booker, 7 wins in the bubble. Devin Booker.
How about what Moon Township, I think, claims him? I know he went to Olsh. How about Cam Johnson,
yes.
Right? He's a big part of that. No, but by the time I turned the game on, I know the fourth overtime, the overtimes preceding the fifth one had some back-and-forth action, some odd-man rushes, but it seemed like a slog by that fifth overtime. And normally I would be okay with that because in a normal playoffs, these are happening in buildings that are only hosting that series. But, you know, baseball has done a bunch of weird stuff for their 2020 season, and I know hockey holds the Stanley Cup playoffs rightly in incredibly high regard and esteem. It's like a sacred thing. But maybe, since you're playing in bubbles and this affects scheduling in a tangible way like it did last night, necessitating Boston and Carolina to get moved to this morning, maybe you consider tweaking the formula just a little bit. Like maybe if it's 2 overtimes at 5-on-5, after that you go 4-on-4. And I think 4-on-4 for 20 minutes, you'd have somebody score a goal sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, a couple other notes before we go to the phone lines, and that is Washington says no fans. Dallas says, yeah, we'll have fans. And right now, Texas has a 50% capacity. We'll see if that changes and if they can actually do it. Let's go to the lines. We have Joe in Penn Hills first up tonight. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Chris.
What's up?
Hey. I kind of agree with Chris what he said. See, I would have fired everybody. Sullivan, too, man. He's burned out. They're not listening to him. I know he's got the 2024, so they have to keep him. But it's going to be same old. He's going to be the head coach. He's going to say what he says. He's going to.
Well, let me just say this to you real quick, Joe, before you go on. He was viewed as a Coach of the Year candidate this year for the amazing amount of injuries they had to go through, and a lot of people thought it was not right that he wasn't in the final 3 of the Jack Adams Award. So
well, I just feel the way I feel, just like Murray. They keep bringing Murray's name up, and you got to realize 216 and 217 is past. I don't live in the past, and they were living off that. He had an 89% saves percentage. I was going with Jory.
Well, he's going to be gone. I mean, he's probably going to be gone, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, he's not going to be a Penguin if I had to bet this coming season. So I think it's Tristan Jarry's net. As far as Mike Sullivan getting fired, I'm not sure I'm advocating for that so much as saying that I think the front office was sending a message that, hey, if you didn't have a contract that we just locked you into, and if you didn't do such a good job during the regular season, you'd have found yourself on the chopping block. Lest we forget, the Penguins are a rightly celebrated franchise in town. 5 cups since 1991. They are consistently great. They, granted, have had the best offensive player in the world for like 32 of the last 35 years, so that kind of helps. But they go through coaches very quickly. The message can get lost pretty much overnight. And I know Mike Sullivan has had a ton of success. I think by rights, he is their best coach in franchise history because he's got 2 cups. But let's not forget, the stars tend to run this franchise.
Yeah, but I think that's the case.
The biggest one of all owns this franchise.
I think that's the case in all hockey. And I'll use the Flyers as a good example.
It
Everyone behind that bench has been fired multiple times, and they have now a different strategy. Alain Vigneault is their head coach, and they brought in 2 former head coaches to be alongside, Mike Yeo and Michael Therrien. So I wonder what kind of coaching staff Mike Sullivan might put together now. Is he going to look for those guys who have been former head coaches, who've had that experience?
Is it going to be his choice?
Yeah.
Is it going to be his decision? If Jim Rutherford or somebody says, I'm going to have a hand in bringing these guys on, and he brings on somebody with head coaching experience, if I were Mike Sullivan, I'd be looking over my shoulder pretty early on.
Yeah, maybe or maybe not, or maybe it's just a way of getting more experience. The guys who've had that opportunity, I don't know. I mean, I listened to Alain Vigneault when he was hired, and he was responsible for bringing those other guys. He said, I love the experience. They've been in my seat, so they understand my seat. We understand what. It's a different strategy, and so far the Flyers are doing a pretty good job as they won again tonight, beating Montreal. All right, let's go out to Tony in Mount Lebanon. Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Hey, Bob, first-time caller. I just want to say I always enjoy you and Richie on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, listen, I want to talk about the Pirates, and you might not like what I'm about to say, but it relates to all of the Pittsburgh sports media people. I feel like Bob Nutting is not held accountable by you people, and you could go on a TV show for 20 minutes and complain for 1 or 2 minutes about him, but he needs to be asked the tough questions about why he continuously sheds payroll year after year, and now we're on a full rebuild for who knows how long, and then he says later about the 2015 team that, oh, maybe I shouldn't have broken the team up. Well, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out, why you wouldn't want to add to a 2015-98 win
Tony,
team.
I have a question. What would you have us do? Like ambush him at the airport like TMZ does and stick a microphone in his face?
But even
like,
then, he won't give you the
want?
answer that you're looking for. I mean, that's just the way it is. There's not much you can do. You know, people make it sound like we're supposed to go there and take him out of the building and say we demand another. I mean, you can't do that.
What
you
are we
ask
supposed to
questions
do?
when you-
Like, we're going to have an inquest on the middle of Federal Street here? What are we doing? We taking him out to General Robinson Street? You get your pitchfork, I'll get my torch, and we'll have a tribunal? What do they expect? What can we do?
Hey,
we all know what the score is with
right.
that team and that owner. Come on.
It's been the same, and there's not much. If the league doesn't want to do anything about it, nobody else really can at this point. All right, and by the way, the Pirates haven't played all week, and tomorrow they'll be in Cincinnati. Don't know what's going to happen with St. Louis. I'll talk more about that with Chris when we come back, but right now it's time for our Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the night, and this comes to us from the Steelers Wire. I can't even read the top of that, but what it says is, former Bengal Pac-Man Jones burns Joe Hayden autographed jerseys. Now, if you've not seen this, you put it on Instagram. Actually, make sure you put something in your ear so you can't listen to it because it's ridiculous. And Pac-Man Jones continues to do what he does, which I don't know. Instead of taking something that was, I don't know what, Joe Hayden says he didn't send the jerseys to Pac-Man Jones. What he should have done, call him, say, Joe, what's up with this? Did you send him? The answer would have been no. Then take him and give him to some local charity and sell him or do whatever you got to do to make money. He didn't do that. He burned them. And he almost burned himself. Chris, I'll get your response to that when we come back. We're up against the break. Who knew we were going to talk about Pac-Man Jones tonight? But we are. 412-575-2600 right here on Pittsburgh CW.